Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me today on our review of masticating juicers versus centrifugal juicers. It's October 25th. A clear, lovely sunny day in the Pacific Northwest. And got some beautifully freshly harvested kale from the garden. I think we're ready to get to it. Let's start with this one here. This is centrifugal, which means it's going to be a high-speed action used to separate your pulp from your juice. It's got a spinning disc in here. This motor is mounted vertically here, used to spin this screen at a very high rate, usually upwards of 10 to 15,000 RPMs, and that causing the juice to fling out the sides and the pulp to go in this outer basin, the juice being collected on the latter side here. But with this method, it tends to whip quite a bit of air into your material, as well as it's not as efficient for separating the juice from the pulp. They're usually a bit more noisy as well. So let's give you a quick test. We should find some identical kale to make a. You'll tell right off the bat, but I want a reasonable example here to. Here we go. Well, those are pretty good looking. I think this one's even a little larger, so I don't know if that's fair, but we'll give it the benefit of the doubt, because I think this will give us good results. So, on with the Huntington Beach centrifugal juicer. Dripping a little bit here, so I'll let it separate. As you can hear, I've had to elevate my voice just a bit to depth over. Wow, it sped up the drip as it turned off. This method also tends to oxidize the juice, so it won't last as long fresh. So we'll just let that drip while we run the TriBest Green Star. This is a masticating juicer. Happens to be horizontally mounted with twin gears that run through here. This will be your electric motor that's turning horizontally. And you slow feed it down into here, and it will usually about 100 RPMs. I think this one is like 120 RPMs versus 10 to 15,000 RPMs. This treats your product a bit better, and maybe that'll work as a little catch there, eh? Separates the juice from the pulp quite a bit better. So, and you'll notice the volume is a bit more beneficial to the human condition as well. Shall we? Want to make sure we're keeping our fingers clear of the chute. This one does take a bit more energy in terms of pushing downwards, but that went pretty easily. Oh, we haven't even loaded up the gears. Oh wait, and we're already juicing. may take a couple of leaves before we start seeing any pulp come out, due to the fact that there's a mesh screen in here and twin gears that will kind of load up with material. Maybe we should run a bit more. Well, let's see where we're at juice wise here. We're gonna run more regardless. Dripping a little bit, but she's mostly there. This one does include a little colander for filtration. Oh, I need like an ounce measure. Let me bring this to you. We'll have to get a measure to get super accurate, but already I can see a layer of foam, more so on the top of this one than I can on this one, and that's going to be due to the whipping effect of the centrifugal juicer back there. So I guess my point was to show, if you're going to make the investment and get into juicing, you don't have to necessarily go as far as the Green Star. Pardon. As there are other options available. This is a single solo screw masticating juicer from Omega that works quite well, and heard it's a bit easier to clean. This is pretty easy to clean. This takes a bit more work as well. And then the other thing about masticating juicers is usually they'll include this blank versus currently we have the screen outfitted. This will separate the pulp from the juice, whereas this one will send the product straight through, emulsifying, masticating, and combining into nut butters, pastas, and multiple other things. So dual purpose, stays fresher longer, less volume. I just was blessed with the opportunity and ability to have these three machines. I'm thankful that they all exist. They have helped me through my path and journey, but there's a lot of people out there that aren't as aware of the ability of juicing or the way in which it's done and the differences that there may be. So I thought this was important to share in case anybody was interested in getting the juicing. You're going to get far better effects and optimize from your produce or whatever you're using with a masticating juicer versus a high-speed centrifugal. Just gonna give them a taste test and see if I could notice a difference. Well, I'm still gonna measure them out. This should extract, I want to say like 50 to 80% more efficient than this. So initially it's looking real close, but I think once the machine gets going and everything, all the grooves filled and whatnot, I think that overall we'll see a tremendous difference in this machine. So the rest of that will be going through here. So a bit of some interesting findings. There is still juice dripping out of this machine, so it's not all for naught. But so I found that we did end up with more juice from the centrifugal than from the masticating. But there is juice left over dripping out of the masticating, and I've found that it takes a bit of material running through the machine, kind of load up the gears before it really starts pressing well. So it appears if you're going to juice a single leaf, that maybe the centrifugal will be more efficient, although you would need to drink it immediately because due to the oxidation it would spoil quicker than the slow masticating juice. But if you're juicing in any bit of an abundance, I suggest a model similar to the TriBest or the Omega, as it will produce a much higher quality product and more of it over the long run. Also wanted to give a taste comparison. We'll give the centrifugal high speed 10 to 15,000 RPM elixir a try. Smells very green. Very earthy. Right away I can feel the pulp, and you can see it on the sidewall of the glass there. As I said, the centrifugal will include more pulp in your end product, as well as I found the pulp from the centrifugal is more moist than the pulp that comes out of the masticating. So if you're making pulp chips, maybe that moisture is helpful, but still they're going to be oxidized, so a slow turn would give you a better product in the end. Been, again, very green and earthy. I'm not sure if I am able to distinguish a difference between the two flavor-wise, but I definitely notice visually and texturally that there is far less pulp in this, the second batch, which is from the masticating juicer. So there you have it. Findings so far. Please reach out, comment, question, ask any questions or thoughts, implements, or improvements. Thank you all. Farewell.